Hello, it's Not Bad Cat here on December 30th, 2022 with your weekly Rimworld mod updates and uploads. Thanks to Buzzkill, I now own a copy of Rimworld on Steam, meaning I can make collections. I'll continue to provide links to each mod in the description, but you can now find weekly and monthly collections on Steam. Thank you, Buzzkill. Let's take a look at this week's mods. Egyptian/Kemetic Factions and Culture by Odyssey Lotus is just like last week's Aztec Culture mod. It adds over 2,000 names for pawns, more deity and festival names, and leader titles. It adds 2 factions based on Upper and Lower Egypt to populate warm biomes. It integrates well with a lot of other mods, including alpha memes and more religious origins. Artists Are Production Specialist by Brandon0sh adds Artistic 6 as one of the requirements for the Production Specialist role. This way, your focused artists don't need to have Construction or Crafting 6 as well, or their backstory prevents those work types. Switch Worker by Cathanon lets you switch workers for any unfinished item. Now, before you go leveling a poor crafter and have the legendary pawn finish it, switching workers loses half the completed work to stop exactly that. It's super helpful if your crafting pawn dies midway through. Pawn-Centric Work Priorities by Sir Reality adds a menu to the pawns called Work, where you can see and set that pawn's work categories. It's super helpful if you have tons of colonists and the Work tab is cluttered. It works with Colony Manager and Work tab, with exceptions to sub-priorities or time-dependent work for Work tab. Use Best Materials by Cathanon saves you time in figuring out what stuffable is best for beauty, attack strength, melee damage per second, or melee penetration. Beneath the material selects, just set Use Best By. You can sort materials by stats or hover for how that material affects stats. Quality Affects HP by Logan76667 changes anything that has quality and hit points, including apparel, weapons, art, and furniture. So you reap some benefit from a chair that would otherwise just increase your wealth. Awful items will have a 50% normal HP, while excellent will have 300%. At Legendary, Cataphract Armor goes from 400 to 4,000 HP. That will last a while. 777 Sleep Sync by Sergius777 adjusts a couple's rest level when both of them are in bed together. This means a quick sleeper can donate some of their time to their partner, so they'll spend more time together and will have closer sleep schedules so they can do some lovin'. RimTwins by Thakranka adds the chance for any pregnancy to have a 5% chance of twins, 1% chance of triplets, or a 0.5% chance of quadruplets. They're looking for some help in making this a gene, so if you can help, contact them via DM. Toddlers by Cyanobot changes babies into their worst form, toddlers. 1 and 2-year-olds can do all the terrible things they start to do. Eventually they crawl around, then walk, and then learn to open doors and leave their crib. But they can fulfill some of their play need and feed themselves when they are a little bit older. Babies are also improved. They have no expectations, can have configurable play need, and get clothes. Toddlers should respect zones, so try to keep them out of trouble. Better Children's Skill Learning by Red Mattis changes a kid's normal learning speed to 1.0 instead of the no passion rate of 0.35. Children with a passion will learn twice as fast as an adult would, so hopefully those born into your colony should be just as good as those you recruit. Biotech Building Minify by 1U makes planning your lab so much easier since it makes biotech and gene lab buildings uninstallable, because you always have bigger and better labs in the future. Cryptosleep Adaptation Gene by Imperial Commander Xander Gibson adds a gene that stops pawns from having cryptosleep sickness. It's great for those storage pawns that can be needy with drugs or keep your raider defense pawns out of the way until they're needed. Hemogen Extractor by Uvirigan adds a building you can use to stuff pawns in to get hemogen without needing to remove their spines or limbs to keep them confined. Just keep it fueled with food and they'll spawn hemogen to whatever you configure it to be. Take them out and they're still easy to handle because of cryptosleep sickness and blood loss. Split Genepack by OMG Splat allows you to split gene packs. Pawns will split a combined gene pack into the individual parts if you really don't like all the workarounds you have to do to get a pure gene pack. It works with splitting the mod Alpha Genes packs as well. Advanced Pollution Pump by That Bar Guy adds a pump that works 5 times faster than normal pollution pumps. So go ahead and pollute without worry. It will get cleaned up eventually, right? Just leave it to future generations. Figure it out. Plant Anything in Hydroponics by Virgin changes hydroponics to accept almost all plants. It works with the vanilla expanded plants, VGP vegetable garden, and more. Trees still need to be unroofed and can't be next to each other, so why would you ever do this? That's expensive wood. Prioritize Meals Over Preserved Foods by Siki is great for managing food without having to create different meal restrictions or forbid packaged survival meals because they always take from that perfectly good, simple meals. Pawns will eat fresh foods first and only touch pemmican or packaged survival meals if that's all they've got left. No Default Gather Spot by Ilanak changes the gather spot setting to be disabled by default. No more pawns standing out in the rain because I forgot to turn off gather spot on the table I leave for traders so they don't track dirt and their animals into my dining room. Fix Animal Count on Auto Slaughter window by RL85 helps you manage the flock a bit easier by having a toggle to count pregnant animals as part of the limit or not. This way you can better control population or stop auto slaughter from getting in the way of your controlled breeding program. Planet Setting Randomizer by Dr. Plantabite lets you better customize the planet for rainfall, temperature, population, and pollution sliders. It uses the seed name so the seed, Not Bad Cat, will always have the same settings, whatever they happen to be. You can still adjust the sliders if it's got a tad too much pollution for your liking. Individual Sound Volume by Cathanon lets you control how loud some sounds are or disable them completely. Like the door swooshing noise. I've always had a mod to silence that. When you play, just listen to how annoying it is. Now, you can use this mod to control all sounds, including modded ones. Build Doors Simple Signs by 3HST adds a variety of signs for your colonists to ignore, just like everyone else in the world. Research complex furniture and enjoy decorating your base with keep out signs that raiders will probably just burn down. Convenient Fire by Apricot77 adds a large campfire capable of cremating raiders, rotted animal carcasses, and more. It's great for tribal colonies, especially if you don't want to speed to electricity research. There's also a portable fire foam popper that can protect pawns for up to 6 hours, hopefully enough to drag a colonist out or break down the walls. Can Haz Matches by Cathanon makes your colonists capable of causing a fire anywhere. Right-click an item and tell a pawn to ignite. They must have some form of manipulation and can't have dumb labor or firefighting disabled, so at least they can put out the fires they start. Well, you tell them to start. Nothing is Flammable by Brandon 0SH makes nothing burn. So if you had a few too many colony deaths as a fire rampaged through your warehouse, you need a break. I never liked steel being burnable, because it's not. Not until very high temperatures, which would just straight up kill pawns. Atomic Patch's Hostile Labels by Momo adds a small but helpful thing. You'll be able to spot enemies easier with their labels attached to them. Great for heavily forested places or small manhunting animals. Show Weapon Tallies by Cathanon lets you see just how many rocket launches are headed your way. When selecting numerous pawns, it will tally up and show how many of each kind of weapon they wield. It can be helpful to figure out what your pawns are equipped with and why do they always have to equip beer bottles. Beer isn't even good. It being a weapon, I mean. Tastier Vanilla Melee by Al9000 is a retexture pack for a bunch of melee weapons. The mace is appropriately pointy and you can better visualize what these weapons actually look like. ROO'S HD Dreadlock Hairstyles by Ruboid is the HD update of their original mod with texture scaled to 512. There's over 30 styles, and if you have Biotech, there's also the Dreadlocks only gene. Great for making certain xenotypes, only dreadlocks. And that was the mod updates and uploads for December 30th, 2022. On January 1st, I'll be putting up a video about what my plans are for 2023. Let me know in the comments what you think could take the channel to the next level, or come discuss it in Discord. Don't forget, you can view this week's mods in a collection on Steam. As always, like, subscribe, and join the Patreon. I'll see you in the new year. Let's make it even better. This is Not Bad Cat, signing out.